Are you a fan of the NES classic Star Tropics? Well, check out my new book, The Test of Island Courage, a Star Tropics tribute. This book is a massive tribute to Star Tropics and Star Tropics 2 Zoda's Revenge. It has reviews, character bios, and the entire Star Tropics 1 and 2 story as told by Mike Jones. So if you're a fan of Star Tropics, make sure to get your copy of A Test of Island Courage, a Star Tropics tribute today. Link in the description below.
Hey guys, Ryan here, and welcome aboard the Popcorn Rocket, where we're broadcasting in space for awesome video game memories, and we are here to talk about my personal favorite console of all time, the Super Nintendo, and a couple of games that were released for it. Enjoy! Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Super Punch-Out! So I am one of those rare people that actually likes Super Punch-Out more than the original Punch-Out on the NES. Okay, well, I'm also one of those rare people who like Zelda 2 better than 1. So I remember back in 1994, when I was in the 8th grade, I saw the commercial for Super Punch-Out on TV.
You're a bum! You're an animal, kid! A bum! Don't worry, kid, it'll heal.
Don't worry, kid, it'll heal! And I was like, well, I never finished the original Punch-Out, but I still want to get Super Punch-Out. So just like any kid in the 90s who didn't have money, and I didn't have an allowance either, I had to wait until December of 1994 to play this game when I rented it from a mom-and-pop game shop. So Super Punch-Out is a lot more like the arcade versions rather than the NES versions, and I admit I'm very terrible at the arcade versions of Punch-Out. Yeah, even to this day, I can't get past Piston Hurricane in the arcade version. Yeah, even on MAME, where I could put unlimited quarters. Yeah, because Super Punch-Out actually does away with the hearts and the stars, which I really didn't like, because, you know, the hearts, when you lose all your hearts, then you lose stamina, and then you have to dodge for a while to get it back, and then you can easily lose your star punches in the original Punch-Out. Because in Super Punch-Out, you have to build up a power-up meter every time you hit your opponent, and when that meter goes to full, you can unleash, like, uppercuts. Well, they look more like this, so they're kind of more of hooks, and then rapid hooks, and it's so satisfying to rapid hook the shit out of your opponents. Yeah, he ain't getting enough from that. And of course, we all know Punch-Out games aren't really boxing games. They're kind of more of reflex games, cleverly disguised as boxing games. Because I remember back when I got bullied one time and my dad was trying to teach me how to box, I was like... And then my dad was like, "Where'd you learn to punch like that? Boxers don't punch like that." It was in Punch-Out, Dad." "Well, Punch-Out's not real boxing, son." So I remember when I first played this game, I had a bit of trouble with the control scheme at first. You know, like Y is your left punch, B is your right punch, and A is your super. So I decided to change it to having B as your left punch, A as your right punch, and Y as your super. So just like the original NES Punch-Out, we have a colorful cast of boxers in Super Punch-Out. Although in all honesty, I don't find them as memorable as iconic names like Glass Joe, Von Kaiser, and Piston Honda. Although we do have 3 returning boxers, Bald Bull, Mr. Sandman, and Super Macho Man. Although I think Bald Bull and Mr. Sandman got demoted because now Bald Bull is the champion of the minor circuit, you know, the lowest one, and Mr. Sandman is champion of the major circuit, which is kind of below his world circuit. And also he was the final boss in the original arcade Punch-Out. So this time we get boxers like Gabby J, yay! Who is actually Glass Joe's student, and his only win was against Glass Joe. Like Gabby J was a waiter in France, but something decided to snap and he wanted to become a boxer. Yeah, I think if you work in the food business long enough and customers piss you off, you definitely want to become a boxer. Good going, Gabby J. And how much does Glass Joe charge for lessons? I could probably use a couple myself. And then we got Bear Hugger. Watch out, I'm a killer. I am the Bear Hugger. Then Piston Hurricane, who returns from the arcade game. Of course, like I mentioned before, Bald Bull. And then we got Bob Charlie, who I assume is boxing under an assumed name. Then Dragon Chen, who comes back from the arcade game. And then we got a newcomer, Masked Muscle, who spits something in your face. Ah. And like I mentioned before, Mr. Sandman is back. And then we got Aaron Ryan, who also does appear in the Wii version. I wonder what that's a pun of. And then a name that I had trouble pronouncing at first, Heike Kagero. And then we got Mad Clown! Then Super Macho Man. And then we got Narcissus Prince. See what they did there? Narcissus Prince. And then, who I consider the hardest boxer in the game, Hoy Corlo. Then, Rick and Nick Bruiser. So I remember this game being pretty challenging, but not as challenging as the original Punch-Out. Because in this game, they allow you to be more aggressive, so this time you can only fight your opponent for one round, which is 3 minutes, 3 actual minutes rather than the 3 sped up minutes in the original NES Punch-Out. Although if you fail to knock down your opponent in those 3 minutes, you automatically lose. There's no winning by decision this time. Because in the original Punch-Out, when I first beat Tyson, I beat him by decision, which really helped. And also, they get rid of the in-between round banter, which I really enjoyed. And of course, it's replaced with a small description of your opponent, his stats, and a bit of trash talk at the beginning. No, Gabby J, I'm not gonna let you win. You're gonna have 100 losses after this. And of course, I remember Gabby J being really easy to beat because obviously he's the first opponent, the protege of Glass Joe. So I had a bit of trouble with Bear Hugger at first. I remember trying to punch him and then he just smacks me upside the head and I'm like, oh wait, I gotta duck under that. Piston Hurricane, I consider him a little easier than Bear Hugger. And Bald Bull, who's a lot easier to beat in this version than he is in the original Punch-Out. I remember you can get knocked down by his Bull Charge and still be able to beat him. Although his Bull Charge in this game is a lot easier to count the steps in this game, because I remember in the original NES Punch-Out, I would mess up a lot of times. No matter how many times I've beaten the original Punch-Out for the NES, I would still mess up sometimes fighting Bald Bull. Although this time, it's a lot easier to hear his steps because they're a lot louder, and then you can just punch him that way. Bob Charlie, he was pretty easy to beat. And I remember Dragon Chan, I had a bit of trouble with. I'm like, why are you kicking? This is boxing. And then Mass Muscle I found a little easier than Dragon Chan, although I would keep getting hit by his spit. Although Mr. Sandman in this game is a lot easier than he is on the original NES version. I remember having a lot of trouble in the world circuit, especially with Aaron Ryan, because every time I would super punch him with an uppercut, he would grab me and I didn't know what to do. And then Heike Kagero would always hit me with his hair. And then I think I had the most trouble with Mad Clown, because man, this guy is like the super duper aggressive version of Bear Hugger. I remember when he would throw the balls at me, I would have to pause every single time. Although I got good enough to be able to avoid the balls now on instinct, but then when he goes into showtime, yeah, he's nuts, man. He's truly Mad fucking Clown. And then Super Macho Man, who I think is about as difficult as the NES version. And this time he has those exercise programs, which really threw me off guard. And you still have to avoid his spin punches, which are a lot easier to duck under in this game than they were in the original Punch-Out. So I had a lot of trouble trying to beat the world circuit. And then finally, after hours upon hours, I was finally able to beat it without being defeated. And if you beat the first 3 circuits without losing, you unlock the special circuit. Oh man, the special circuit, oh my god. Yeah, during my first rental, I could not beat the special circuit. I got all the way up to Nick Bruiser, but Narcissus Prince was definitely very difficult. I mean, you can't hit him in the face. Yeah, Narcissus Prince, if you don't want your face to get hit, why the hell did you get into boxing in the first place? I had to actually counterpunch Narcissus Prince and then hit him in the face, and he's like, ugh! You swine, you hit my face! Wait, that's Scottish. I just love when you knock him down. He's like, oh, you bloody bloke, you've knocked me down, and you hit my face, damn you! And then the one I consider the hardest boxer in the game, Hoy Corlo. And Hoy Corlo gave me the most trouble out of every boxer in this game. I hated fucking fighting this guy. Yeah, so Hoy Corlo, what really throws you off about this guy, he fights with his cane, because he's like 78 years old. And that really throws you off because you're used to boxers fighting with their, fist, but he uses his cane, and he's fast. He's like, he fucking Mr. Miyagi's you. And then I was so happy to finally beat Hoy Corlo. I mean, Rick Bruiser was tough, but not as tough as Hoy Corlo. And then Nick Bruiser, who is considered, the Mr. Dream, the Mike Tyson of the game, because he's obviously the last boss. He's hard. He's definitely very hard. He's like... Yeah, punches don't faze this guy. Of course, Rick Bruiser's only loss was to Nick. I couldn't beat Nick Bruiser the first time I rented the game, so I had to wait until summer of 1995 to rent the game again. And then this time though, I had that Nintendo Power issue that gave me strategies, so I was finally able to beat Nick Bruiser that time. And I recall my win record was like, I had 16 wins and 137 losses. Yeah, I rented the exact same cartridge from the same rental, and my save data was still there, so I don't think anyone touched this game. Yeah, then during Christmas of 1995, I actually purchased the game with my own Christmas money for about $30 from EB Games. Remember EB Games? And that's when I started getting really, really good at Super Punch-Out. Because I had the Nintendo Power issue that gave me all the strategies, and I found the game to be more fun the more I played it. I wanted to start getting good. Nintendo Power had the best times you can get on all the boxers. You can beat Gabby J in 6 seconds, you can beat Bear Hugger in 17 seconds, you can beat all the boxers in less than 30 seconds. And I wanted to do that, so I started playing and playing and playing this game until I got that good. I remember in order to get a lot of the best times, you had to learn how to counter punch, and counter punching was actually one of the most fun things you can do in this game. You had to counter punch by kind of mirroring your opponent's punch, punching with the opposite fist. If your opponent throws a punch with his left hand, you throw your right hand, and from your perspective, your right hand matches his left hand, so you counterpunch that. I got really, really good at counterpunching in this game, and that's what made the game so much fun to play over and over again. I played this game so much that I maxed it out to have 255 wins and 0 losses, because 255 is the highest you can get in this game, because I know 255 is a programming number limit. I also remember at E3 2016, me and my crew went to the Hyperkin booth to film some stuff and play the HTC Vive, and they had one of their consoles with Super Punch-Out. I was just showing off to everybody that I could beat this game, and I haven't played the game for a long time, but I just beat the game just like that. And I remember going to Funko Land, remember Funko Land? And they would have Super Punch-Out to play, and I would just beat it right in front of everybody. It was a pretty amazing feeling. Although I do consider myself an expert at this game, I'm far from the world's best player or anything. Go on YouTube and watch Super Punch-Out time attack videos. There's people that even beat these Nintendo Power scores, Gabby J in 5 seconds, Nick Bruiser in 12 seconds. This shit is crazy. I'm trying to imitate them as much as possible, but it's so hard, man. So yeah, dude, Super Punch-Out. I fucking love Super Punch-Out. I still think to this day Super Punch-Out is the best Punch-Out game. Although I do have a couple of problems with this game. The boxers aren't as memorable. I think we're still going to be saying Glass Joe, King Hippo, and Super Macho Man rather than Gabby J, HKK Garo, and Mad Clown. And the music is still very good in this game. It really fits the mood, but it's not as iconic as the NES game. And I really, really do miss the, after round banter, because, they put a 3-minute limit on the fights in this game. But overall, I think the game is a lot more forgiving. I think it's a more solid experience than the NES Punch-Out, and I still highly, highly recommend it. So you can get this game on the Wii or the Wii U Virtual Console, or get it on the 3DS. I play it all the time on the 3DS. Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Pilotwings for the Super Nintendo. So Pilotwings, one of the classic Super Nintendo games. I remember seeing this in Nintendo Power and being like, wow, that's what the Super Nintendo is going to look like, and it can do Mode 7 effects, holy crap, man. So a lot of people accuse this game of being a tech demo for the Super Nintendo. If this is a tech demo, Give me a lot more tech demos, because this was one hell of an awesome tech demo. So I remember in the summer of 1993, I rented this game, and I remember when I first flew that plane, I crashed. I completely crashed the plane. Yeah, there was a time I did go to the school in Pilotwings. Yeah, you can watch that video in the description. Pilotwings is a very, very, very difficult game. Like, I remember when I first rented it, I only got as far as the first hang glider level, I think, which was the 4th level. And I remember you have these different instructors, and when you fail, holy shit, they totally like rub it in your face. Ugh. Hey, my grades in this game weren't that much different than my actual grades at school. Yeah. But also, what was great about this game is when you crashed, it was hilarious. Like, I remember when you fly the plane and you crash it, and then you can skid and you crash against the wall for an extra explosion. And then when you're trying to parachute, and if you don't pull your parachute, you make like a Looney Tunes hole in the floor. Like, hey, this is Wile E. Coyote Simulator. And then when you try the rocket belt and you crash, you blow up and you look like something out of a cartoon rather than your body parts being spread around. Although the hang glider, I think, is the most tame of the crashes, but you still look very funny. I used to call this game America's Greatest Flying Accidents on the Super Nintendo. And so if you want to beat this game seriously, you're going to need a lot of patience, because the control is almost kind of like flying a real plane, although I know nothing about flying real planes or rocket belts or anything. But yeah, the game tries to simulate that, but simplifies it though. But you can't play this game expecting to be good at it at the beginning. You have to practice this game a lot. A lot. Trust me. Like, I remember like having a bit of trouble steering the plane and then landing it correctly. And I also remember trying to perfectly get through the rings when you jump off for the parachute. And it's hard. It's really hard. You have to rotate your player. And the rocket belt, you have to switch all the time between 2 distinct viewpoints. And the hang glider, which is what I found the most difficult, like, you have to like find that wind current that will just like make you glide a lot longer so you can land. And then once you beat the first 4 levels, then you have the helicopter scenes. And the helicopter scenes are really, really difficult. Like, you can fly like top down or have more of an isometric view, then you have to destroy all those cannons. And you have to clear a whole bunch of cannons before you can even land and rescue the hostages. And of course, once you beat the first 4 levels plus the first helicopter, you get to play it at night. Pilotwings at night are more like Pilotwings Pro, which definitely ups the challenge a lot. So if your patience was being trying for the first 4 levels, it's gonna really, really be put to the test. I remember my first rental, I could not beat this. But the good thing is they put passwords in this game, which made it a lot easier. I remember jotting down all those passwords after I beat a level, so I remember still having my password list from when I rented the game. And then I remember renting it again before the end of the summer of 1993, and I still have my passwords. Then I got the passwords for the next set of levels, and then the last helicopter level, which was really hard because it was at night. And then I remember when you beat that, one of the instructors is crying and he's like, "You rescued my brother who was one of the hostages." And then you're being commemorated. You see your instructor's like, "Did it, man. You did it." It's so satisfying beating Pilotwings. This is a very fucking hard game. And also, Pilotwings got sequels on the N64 and the Wii and the 3DS, which I will cover in future awesome video game memories videos. Yeah, so Pilotwings on the Super Nintendo, yeah, this game isn't like really expensive if you want to get the original cartridge, but also it's also available on the Virtual Console if you want to get it for cheaper.
Hey everybody, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially subscribe, and make sure to click on that notification bell so you know when we release new videos, because YouTube's probably not going to tell you. And if you want to see me play games live, make sure to follow me at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus, and if you have a Twitch Prime account, make sure to subscribe so you can get awesome perks like subscriber badges and much more. And if you want to support us, make sure to support us on patreon.com/Ryan Molina, because every dollar helps me bring you a better show. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter at @RyanMolina and at BattleGeekPlus. And also make sure to check out the official Battle Geek Plus website for a complete listing of our books, merchandise, t-shirts, and a lot more. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out these other videos right here. Thanks and take care.